uh, the candidates. Yeah. So I would like to have a quick interaction with the candidates. So I would like to know a couple of things. One is that I would like to understand that which domain you belongs to, whether it is, for an example, you are from SAP ABAP or SAP MM, or it's completely non-SAP background, and how many years of experience you have. Please do not disclose your organization name because these two information I need to understand what kind of audiences I have today. Okay, and that will help me to run the further discussion. Okay, so can we start now? Uh, Whoever can come and start the discussion. I mean, let me call out. Susmina.
Hi Aditya, Sushmina this side. So my overall experience is 9 years, and in SAP MDG I have 2 to 3 years of experience as a functional consultant. Uh, I need to brush up my skills in MDG functional, and also I want to explore little bit in the technical side. So I was looking forward for some training. So that is why I have joined.
Sure, Susmina. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for this introduction. Yeah. Okay. Uh, S. Verma.
Yeah, sorry. I'm also from SAP functional background. I have 15 years of experience, mostly with MMPM and SD. So I want to know more about the technical side and how everything works with MDG.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. Rama Selvi.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. I'm working for a retail company in SAP MM. I'm looking for MDG to get trained and switch on to MDG. Yeah, this is my
Thank
background.
you. Thank you. Yeah. And Pavitra.
Hello, sorry, I got unmuted. This is Pavitra. Hello,
I
am I
can hear
audible?
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
you are audible. Yeah.
Okay. I hold altogether 19 years of experience. I'm into SAP, FICO, and PAPM. Now I'm just trying to explore my opportunities in MDG. That's the reason I'm here.
Okay. Thank you, Pavitra.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Mohammed Abuzar.
Yeah, hi Aditya. Muhammad Abuzar this side. So I do have around 6 years of experience as an end user, and I am working on a SAP ECC, and I also work on Oracle. So now I want to switch, and I want to see myself in as a SAP MDG techno functional consultant. So I hope this training will help me to achieve my target. Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Sure. Sure. Thank you. Yeah. Modita.
I didn't know why it logged in as Modita. This is Srinivas.
Okay.
I have around 30 plus years of experience in IT industry. I am actually from open systems background, multi-skilled. SAP, I did some open SAP courses in Germany, got some certifications also. But this is the first time I am attending a course in SAP. Because I have vast experience in database systems, RDBMSs. I hope this MDG will help me to get better opportunities in future in SAP arena also.
Okay. No problem. By the way, you can change your name from, you can
Yeah, I'm
see,
changing it. I'm changing.
rename yourself. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's all. If I miss somebody, I can see Venu join. Hi, Venu.
Hey, hello. Hi. Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So, I have around 21 years of experience into SAP. I have worked on SAP BW, BI, and after that, I was into SAP MDM. Uh, so, around 18 years of data migration experience and around 4 years in S4 HANA. My last project was on S4 HANA data migration. So, currently, I'm in between jobs. So, looking to train myself into MDG. That's the reason I am into this class session. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Venu.
Thank you.
Uh, I think I have covered everybody. If I miss somebody, please come forward for your introduction.
Yeah. Hi, Aditya. I think I introduced last time. My name is Vijaya, and I have more than 10 years of SAP data migration experience, purely extensively into the data migrations. My background is ABAP. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, fine. I think we have covered everyone. If not, please let us know. Okay. So let me, as you introduced yourself, let me introduce myself. I'm Aditya. I'm having 16 years of experience in SAP. I basically started my career as an ABAPer, and then I moved to MDG, MDM, and MDG. So MDM, I had a very short period of time. It was just about 1 year. I worked on MDM. I mean, SAP MDM tool where you have a console, data manager, indicators, uh, etc. So that was a period of probably 1 year, not more than that. Because I had a background of ABAP, so then I moved to SAP MDG. So basically, I started MDG journey since 2013. Okay, so since 2013, I'm doing this MDG implementation, and I have been part of various projects, particularly retail, manufacturing, mm, life science. Mainly, most of my time I have spent on manufacturing implementation and support. Uh, Of course, I have been part of implementation, majorly implementation, and a couple of support project as well. And the domain which I have worked, that is material master, business partner, including customer, vendor. I would say the life cycle, the supply chain. I have been worked in, and the finance master. Majorly three major domain I have been worked, and apart from that, I have been also experienced with data migration activity. And beside that, currently I'm working on AI-based solution for data management and data governance. Okay, so that's a very brief introduction from my side. Now, next few minutes, we are going to quickly talk about what exactly we have in our discussion in data governance, data management, and data governance. And I'll talk about very briefly each and every section which we are going to discuss. And then after that, if you have any question, definitely we will take those questions and I will help to answer those questions. Okay. So what I will do that I'll start the presentation, and after every 1 or 2 slides, based on the content, uh, I'll pause myself. I will open the floor, and then we can have a question answer session. And I do believe that post our discussion, I think whatever the question currently you have in your mind, because any sort of a discussion when you come for the first time, always you have a lot of questions like, how the things will be continue, or how the things will be, explained, whether I will be benefited from here, how I will be benefited, how much time we will spend on this, what will be the format of the whole discussion. So these are the very basic questions everybody has, and I'll talk about that. Mm. So let's start. I don't want to hold this discussion on a weekend. So everybody must be having some plan with their friends and families. So let's start with this. Okay. So first of all, in our SAP Master Data Management and Governance, in this discussion, we have a few segments, and those segments we are going to cover. Okay. So one of the first segment is the fundamental understanding. So first of all, we need to understand what is data governance. So if uh, I today it is not a very detailed discussion, but still there are certain things I will definitely touch upon. Okay, because some people are coming with some expectation, so that we need to satisfy. So what is data governance? First, we need to understand what is data governance. So if I tell you in a very uh, simple way, that is rules, process, and accountability that helps the organization to manage, secure, integrate, and use the master data. That is called data governance. I repeat, rules, you have a business rules, processes, you have a processes like create, change, mark for deletion, block and block, and accountability. Accountability means whatever you are, whatever the master data you are creating or updating, that must be validated by certain authorized approver and reviewer. And that helps the organization to ultimately manage, secure, integrate to uh, some other ECC system or S4HANA system or some third party system and use the master data. So that is called data governance. The next point is why data governance need. Why we need this? There are several reasons that why we need the data governance. First is to secure the data. Okay. So to secure the data, whatever the data you have, now if you see every industry, whether it is a banking industry, whether it is a manufacturing industry, whether it is a insurance industry, whether it is a retail industry, every industry is having huge amount of data in terms of customer data, in terms of supplier data, in terms of product information. So those information must be secure. That is the main reason you have a data governance. Second is ensure the data compliance with legal regulations and data privacy law. So whatever the data you are maintaining or you are creating, that must be aligned with the legal regulations. Okay, based on region or based on country, whatever you are. Third point is improve the data quality. If you see that every industry we have lot of duplicate records, lot of incomplete record about customer. Let's say for an example, customer name is not complete, customer phone number is missing, customer email ID is missing, customer address details are missing. So this kind of data is not going to help you. So you need to improve the data for betterment of the business. If you have a proper customer information, then only you can reach out to the customer for the next product promotions, right? The next point is avoid the data inconsistency. So let's say you have a several systems, so MDG system or non-MDG system, or forget about MDG. You have a several systems where the same sort of data you shared and you perform different transactions like sales order creation, purchase order creation, invoice payment, etc. If the data is not updated, then there will be a problem. Let's say, for an example, your bank account is not updated. So what is going to happen if there will be a direct debit standing for your bank account that will be rejected, or that will be not able to deduct properly? So that is the reason the data consistency is very, very important across the system, whether the system where you are managing the master data, whether the system you are managing the transactional informations. Okay, because ultimately the transactional information source is the master data. The next is improve the trust on data, because if your data is incomplete, if your data is not consistent, then there will be a lack of trust, and based on that, you will not able your organization will not able to take the better decision. So that's what you need to improve the efficiency, the quality of the data, and because of that reason we need the data governance. Okay, it's a very briefly I'm talking about today. When we will have opportunity, we will talk about in detail. Then next is the data governance core principle. What are the core principles we have? Because these are the things we need to understand. Otherwise, straight away going to the configurations, what is going to happen if you are a developer, you don't have any problem. But let's say you as a senior architect, or you as a senior master data specialist, when you engage with your customer, these are the questions your customer will understand from you, because you have to understand that much before your configurations, your business comes first. And you need to explain to your customer that for their betterment of the business, why data governance is necessary. And that's what this fundamental understanding is very, very important. Okay. So if I briefly talk about that data governance core principles, let's say if I talk about a couple of things today, one is that data must be recognized as a valid value and strategic enterprise asset. So your data is basically the driving force. Whether you are, maintaining the process, or you are doing the transactional activity, whatever you are doing, your data is a valid information for you. So that's what your data must be complete. Secondly, the data must be clearly defined. So whatever the, let's say for an example, material master. In material master, for any kind of a further transactions with the material, whatever the informations you need, whether it is a material basic data, material classification, characteristics, sales information, MRP details, forecasting details, valuation information, whatever it is, that must be defined properly. And then only that master data will be used further in the transaction level. Okay. So these are the uh, major principles which you need to follow whenever you are managing the master data. Similarly, we will have data governance KPI. This is very, very important, because in every project or every data governance program sponsorship, it is very, very important to understand for strategic and executive level of the organization that what are the KPIs we have in data governance. So let's say for an example, if I give you 2, 3 examples of KPI for now. One is number of employees involved in data governance program. That means the data governance program which you are creating, before I sponsor this program, how many lives will be touched in this data governance? Okay, that means how many, uh, how much amount of the benefits I will receive in terms of the the extra work or additional work or the tedious work which my current employees are doing. Okay. Secondly, that is number of duplicate incidents will be reduced with help of this data governance program. This is very, very important because ultimately the duplicate, you have a lot of duplicate data that you need to reduce in your organization. You need to clean the data. You need to harmonize the data. And because of this reason, you are starting the data governance program. So you need to understand that currently how much data I have, which is duplicate. So these are the couple of points I'm giving here for now, as a part of data governance KPI. The next point is AI and ML based data governance. Like we know that nowadays everybody talking about AI and ML. So definitely data governance is not out of it. So we have now, if I talk about, because when we decided to have this discussion, uh, we decided that we will go with the candidate with the latest things and what market is demanding. So currently market is demanding with AI and ML. So we are going to touch upon the AI and ML based data governance solutions. Okay. So why AI and ML is important in terms of data growth? What kind of real time performance or real time compliance that you will receive with in order to implement the AI and ML? How much reduced of workload you will have if you build the AI and ML with a certain examples we will talk about in this particular segment. In the next segment, we will talk about the data privacy. You know that, for an example, Europe, you have a GDPR. Similarly, for US, you have a certain data governance body. So basically, why this data privacy is necessary? Everybody in this gathering, we know about the data privacy. But in order to run the data governance program, what are the things we need to keep in mind in terms of maintaining the business partner tax, in order to maintaining the bank details, in order to maintain the basic details and the address information, because that is your personal data. That is one customer or one supplier's personal information. So how you can protect those data? What are the GDPR guidelines you need to follow? Not only just about the data, what are the, in terms of, for an example, for MDG RISE, the cloud ready mode, what are the data policy you need to follow in terms of cloud ready mode? So these are the things which we are going to talk about. And finally, as a part of fundamentals discussion, cloud-based data governance. So what are the cloud-based activities we have? What is private cloud? What is a public cloud? What is MDG RISE? What exactly the difference between MDG on-premise and MDG RISE? What are the benefits you are going to do? What are the different type of hyperscalers you have? So these are the things which we are going to talk about in cloud-based data governance discussion. It's a purely fundamental things. By seeing this, you can see that it has purely a basic understanding which you may not realize today much. You must be thinking, I don't think so. We really need this discussion here. But trust me, when you will engage with your customer, you will realize slowly that this discussion, how much it is important. Because remember, I'm preparing this discussion, the slides, to keeping all my experiences, and I know because currently I'm working as a solution architect, but I'm also hands-on in MDG because ultimately I came through a different stage, right? As a developer, as a techno-functional consultant, then as a team lead, and now I'm a solution architect. So as a solution architect, I know that whenever you face your customer for the first time or over the period of time, what are the business discussions they do? What are the expectations they have? So this is exactly reflecting of this. Now the next point is introduction of data management and data governance. So from here, actually, we are slowly introducing MDG. So now in this particular discussion, we are going to talk about what are the different type of uh, mm, MDG implementation approach we have. One is the central governance approach, where you have a single processing. So basically, by using MDG single change request, you can create one customer or one supplier or one material or one GL account at a time. And that goes to the various approval process. So there is another approach called consolidation and mass processing. So consolidation means mass data creation and mass processing is mass data change. So by using this consolidation and mass processing, basically we create the bulk data and we change the bulk data. Now, what is the process involved? What exactly this tool is all about? What are the payload files we need to manage? Everything we are going to see hands-on. Okay. And finally, overview of the data domains. Like we have material, business partner, including customer, vendor, finance. All these data domains we are going to touch upon, and that is to hands-on. So basically, respect to material, what are the configurations are involved? Respect to BP, what are the configurations are involved? Like for an example, CVI, customer vendor integration configuration for S4 HANA Bupa concept. For finance, what are the GL account chart of account configuration necessary? What are the profit center configuration necessary? So everything, every domain wise, we will go with. Okay. Okay. Before I start the data model, now I'm going to slowly the the configuration part. Before I go into the configuration part, if you have any question, I'm opening the floor.
Hi Aditya, this is Vijaya. So here when you talk about the single processing and mass processing, single processing, um, it's a single record. It is always applies to single record, is it?
So single processing and mass processing, the only difference is that at a time you can create one customer, at a time you can create one material and process, at a time you can create one supplier and process, where in consolidation and mass processing, that at a time a bulk amount of customer, that means more than one customer or more than one supplier
Yeah,
or more than one material will be created or updated. That's the
yeah,
difference.
yeah, got it. So I'm talking in terms of records. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Any other question from anyone?
But we have to configurations to be in place. We have to do the configurations and all, right?
Sorry, come again. I did not
So, uh,
understand your
so
question.
configuration should be in place, correct?
Absolutely.
System
For that's
configurations.
what I'm going into the before I going into the configuration, I thought to have a
Yeah.
any question you have. So definitely, before we have a several configurations able to access those different processes and data governance activities.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other question from anyone? Okay, let's start then. Data model. So data model is I would say that the first configuration which is important. Before the data model also we have certain things which I will also touch upon when we will go with the actual discussion, that is prerequisite configurations. So as a part of prerequisite configuration, we activate the business function, we activate the webbed intro services, we activate the authorization groups, and there are few other couple of things. But the thing is that those activities are majorly basis and authorization activity. However, in order to perform those activity, it is also important to have a collaboration with SAP MDG developer or somebody who knows MDG. So that also I will talk about as a prerequisite activity. But as a MDG consultant, your configuration basically start from the data model. So data model, what is data model? Data model is nothing but it is a kind of a uh, warehouse where you basically have the list of entities, attributes, and their relationships. What is entity types? Entity types is nothing but a group of attributes. And what is attributes? Attributes are nothing but the fields. Those fields which ultimately you are going to use in your master data, whether it is a material specific field, whether it is a customer specific field, or BP specific field, or finance specific field. These are the attributes. Then you have entity relationships, because every set of informations they bind with each other. Let's say, for an example, the basic information bind. So let's say, for an example of material, the material basic information binds with classification and characteristics. The basic information of material binds with the sales data of material. The basic information of material binds with the MRP details. So these are the bindings you have within the data models as a part of relationships. Okay. So ultimately in data model, what we are going to see, we are going to see what exactly the data model is in terms of BP, and finance. Finance data model, we call it as OG. Okay. is for material, BP is for business partner. Under business partner, you have a customer and vendor. Okay. So first, we are going to see in the data model, what are the standard data models we have provided by SAP? What are the several entities we have? What are the relationships we have? What are the SMT mapping? SMT mapping means service mapping tool. So in MDG, not only in MDG, some other applications also deal like Oracle, etc. We have a concept called staging area concept, which is an inactive area. For first, you create the data. The data will first hold the inactive area, and after processing, the data will move from inactive to active area, right? Which is, let's say, for an example, active area. One of the example is your database table. Okay, so this moving the data from staging to the active is basically having through SMT mapping. Okay, so basically what we are going to see, this data model configuration will be completely hands-on. And after seeing the standard data model provided by SAP, we will be doing two things. One, we will be creating one custom data model from scratch. The idea of having the custom data model from scratch is to see how we do the things from the beginning without using the data model provided by SAP. So starting from how you basically create the data model, how you basically introduce the new entity types, new attribute, building how the new relationships, etc. That is one thing. The second thing which we are going to see, that is whatever the standard data model we have, extend the standard data model with additional entity types and attributes. Because in real-time project, you need to do exactly this. Based on the requirement, you need to extend the additional entity types and attributes. So respect to customer master or supplier master or respect to BP, I would say, respect to MM and respect to finance. We will see what are the configuration steps you need to cover in terms of extending the entity types and attributes. And while doing that, we will come across certain topics like CVI, customer vendor integration configurations. We will come across Genil model configurations, etc. So this is in a very brief way what exactly we are going to cover in the data model. Please note, all our discussions will be hands-on. We are not theoretical understanding is necessary, but we are here to send you one clear message. Our intention is not to help you in certification. Otherwise, we will come and give the theoretical understand and we will complete the discussion. Our intention is that after having this discussion, you will be independently start working on MDG as a MDG consultant. Okay. And as you understand by the time my background, as I'm coming from such a background where I will technically, I will functionally, and as a solution architect, whatever the experiences I have. So these three angles I will cover: your technical angle, functional angle, and the solution architect angle. So whatever the stage of life you are, or whatever the position you are currently holding in your organization or project, you can pick it and you can accordingly proceed. Okay, so this is all about the data model. You must be thinking I'm pretty quick because I want to briefly touch about all those things. If there is any additional explanation is necessary, that we will do today or whenever we will have the opportunity. Now coming to the process model. So as I said, what are the different process like create, change, mark for deletion, block, unblock? These are the different processes we have. And those different processes, instead of having or instead of using the transactions like MM01, MM02, XD01, XD02, XK01, XK02, we will be going through the MDG change request. Now, what is change request? Change request is, for now, just think about it's a form. So there is a form, you need to fill those forms, and that form will have several details. And then you submit the form, and that form will start traveling for the approvals from the different departments, from procurement, from planning, from finance, from uh, production, etc. And ultimately, based on several approvals or whatever the required approvals, ultimately your data will be created and your data will be proceed to the target system, replicate to the target system. The target system can be ECC or S4 or non-SAP. Okay, so coming to the process. So in process model, we are going to talk about few things. One is the logical actions. What are the logical actions we have? The business activity. So in order to create the change request, how the business activity we need to maintain. Change request types. What are the different types of change request we have? Based on different region, based on different country, based on different business requirement, how you can basically deal with the change request types. Then change request. Then by using the change request, how you can deal with the single record processing and multi-record processing. These are the things which we are going to talk about with hands-on. Okay, all configurations, and mostly functional configuration, not much technical things comes here. Okay. When I'm talking about technical, I mean like introduction of ABAP. Okay. So data model and process model, what you see, it is a piece of functional configuration. Okay. Then next is user interface model. User interface, ultimately your change request. It's a form. And that is exactly you are using in order to fill the data. And that form is nothing but a UI. It's a user interface. So this user interface, we basically deal with FPM, floor plan manager, Fiori. So basically two things. FPM, by default, SAP will give you FPM when actually MDG pre S4. After introduction of S4, Fiori is basically using as a major launch pad. But in order to bringing Fiori as a major launchpad, you need to do certain configurations. That also we will cover. Okay. So by default, SAP will give you FPM, floor plan manager. But as you are using S4 HANA, because I assume that now most of the project they use S4 HANA MDG. If not, then very short period of time they have to move it because SAP has clearly declared that or defined that by 2027, everybody must be moved from ECC to S4, and there will be an extension of 3 years support that is till 2030. And let's see, but I really doubt personally. But anyway, so that's what for every SAP customer, they have a very limited time to move from ECC to S4 HANA. So that's what you can see there are in the market. There are huge S4 HANA conversions or migration is happening. Okay. So in this particular chapter, we are going to talk about what is FPM, what are the configuration required for different FPM configurations, and then Fiori. What are the configuration necessary for Fiori? And then we have a manage UI configuration. That means in UI, how we can make certain field mandatory, how we can make certain field gray out, how we can make certain field invisible, how we can make certain validations, derivations, etc. These are the things which we are going to talk about through UI configuration, particularly feeder class implementation and implementation of ABAP body. So here, for the first time, the technical part introduce. So here we will be to dealing with the different field property activities, as I said, to making some field mandatory, gray out, and that is to have a specific conditions. Specifically, let's say for an example, for this particular approval step, certain fields will be invisible. Okay, so certain kind of a complex things, complex requirement, you need to deal with ABAP body. So I will help you, even though you do not have a ABAP background, or most of you don't have the ABAP background, but still the way I will explain, I hope you will understand it because I will first explain the execution, then I will go to the piece of code and every line of code I will explain that you will understand how the flow of logic is happening. Okay. Yes. So far, any question specifically related to the data model, process model, and UI? I'm opening the floor.
So, hi Aditya. I have a question related to modeling. So it is real time in a MDG system. We can also open and do it parallelly, right? Because
Okay.
I'm more concerned with models.
Okay. So basically, thank you for touching up this point. So we are using S4 HANA 2023, the latest version. So it is a remote desktop system. A remote desktop system which I'll be using, a similar system will be giving to everyone. and with the 6 months of access. Okay, so I definitely not recommend that while I'm doing this discussion or I'm doing this exercise, parallelly you do this. No, don't do that, because every session will be recorded. So the idea is that whatever the activities I will do or I will explain after the session, you will have your own access, your own user ID, credentials. You please practice those things, and slowly, as we will gradually go on, I will also give you some home task. Okay, similar to what I will prepare, or similar to what I will explain. So those home tasks you can try in offline. Uh, mm, but definitely I will not recommend to do simultaneously while I'm explaining, because there will be lot of information which I will be providing during this discussion. So it is important that you grab all the small information which will help you when you will be part of the real-time project. Okay, so yes, to answer your question, you will be providing system access where you will have a S4 HANA MDG 2023 installed, and you will have a complete access of that system in terms of data model, process model, UI, etc.
Thank you, Aditya. So the another question is a kind of real-time scenario I can keep in this way. So it's possible to showcase or demonstrate
So
or do.
basically, I think you missed this part. While I was talking about in the data model that we will first go through the standard data model, then we will create custom data model, and then we will come to the extension of the standard data model, and the scenario which I will be covered. These are all real-time scenarios. Okay,
Okay,
I'm not saying
thank you.
that what I have done yesterday in my project that I will show you. No, that's a data breach. That I'm not going to do. But the similar kind of a scenario which I will build for you. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Any other question from anyone?
Yeah,
I have a question. Oh, sorry. You can.
no, sorry, go ahead first.
Okay, yeah. So my question was as a related. I wanted to take this certification also for this one. Um, do you know that I hear that there is a new I don't know exam
Right. Right. Let me help you.
model
I
they have.
understand your question. I understand your question. Okay. So
Mhm.
basically, till last year, particularly till November or October 2025, the pattern of exam was like a multiple choice. You have 4 or 5 options. You need to select the relevant options, etc. But now, the what happened? What was happening? So, uh, the problem was that so many people was doing the certification, but when they exposed to the real work, they were not able to deliver it. Okay, because they do not have real exposure. That is what I was keep telling, that I'm not here to help you in certification, but rather it is the intention is very clear that you will be, after completing this discussion, you will be able to successfully drive MDG program. Okay, so the same thing what industry faced. They hire particular person because that person is certified in MDG, but after onboarding they realize this person is having lack of knowledge. So they went back. They have already reported this to SAP long back, and SAP also evaluate this, and they felt that, if this way we will continue, then every second door will have our certification, but in terms of real delivery, they will not able to do that. So then the customer will have a difficulty to identify the real person from the market to hire and run the program. So then SAP decided they are going to change the certification pattern not only for MDG, for majority of all the modules. Okay, so now the pattern is, until and unless you have a hands-on experience, or particularly the discussion which we are driving, until and unless you have such kind of a exposure, it is difficult for you to crack the exam, because it is completely a scenario based now. Okay, so they will, let's say for an example related to the data model, they will give you one scenario, and from scenario there will be a question. So until and unless you have a hands-on or real-time exposure with the data model, it is difficult for you to explain. And it's an open book exam, by the way. It's an open book exam, so you can understand. It's not so easy. So that's what you have to expose yourself with MDG hands-on things, mm, whether in the project or some discussions like what we are actually providing. Okay, so now this is the pattern of certification. Yes.
Yeah, I want, yeah, you answered my question. I wanted to know more about that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah. Any other question from anyone?
Yeah, yeah, I do have a question about me. See, I hear everyone I mean, there's all people who have good amount of experience. So I have only 6 years of experience, and I just want to understand. I'm curious, like how it helped me to grow in MDG. I'm working as an end user only, so how it will help me? It will helpful or not, and I can learn, or I mean, what will be the time and duration for this course, and how it will help me? I mean, to grow. If you
Okay,
can give
it's a
me a
very
little.
important question you raise. So
Yeah.
basically, your question is that I'm having 6 years of experience, and uh, whether I will be able to cope up this. So basically, it doesn't matter how much year of experience you have, even though you have a 16 years of experience or 6 years or 6 months. It is all how you are understanding the concept and how you are utilizing the concept whenever the opportunity comes. Okay. So if I talk about our discussion, the way I will explain, if you follow me properly, then I do believe that you will able to start independently your MDG journey. That is point one. Point two, that everything what you will achieve from this discussion, please remember that's not everything. The real exposure you will have when you start your MDG program, when you will be part of the MDG project, then over the year of time, you will see various requirement, various failure, various success. And from there, it's not about MDG, it's about everything in life. You will understand that, okay, you will be mature about the tool and the application. And you talked about that how much time we need to spend on this discussion, more or less 25 to 30 hours. Okay. And within this 25 to 30 hours, we are going to cover the entire curriculum. However, I will more talk about this end of this slide. Okay. Let me finish this slide, and then I will talk about like which are the days we will have the session, and how much total time we have in our mind to cover it, etc. But to just answer your question, it's between 25 to 30 hours.
Yeah,
Okay?
thank you, Aditya.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Any other question from anyone? Okay, let's proceed. Next is workflow. Workflow is a very, very important segment in MDG. So in workflow, we are basically going to talk about rule-based workflow. So there are two types of workflow: simple workflow and rule-based workflow. Simple workflow we normally use for any kind of ECC project, like where you have a simple workflow design and all. But here we will be using rule-based workflow. The basic difference between the simple workflow and rule-based workflow is that this rule-based workflow, you will have an exposure of workflow along with the uh, rule-based scenarios. So you will have a different rules, and based on the rules, your workflow will proceed. Okay. Uh, in this particular chapter, we are going to do one complete demonstration of creating one workflow process for for master data, like create scenario, change scenario, block unblock. Okay, and we will design end to end with all the decision tables, which is part of the rule-based workflow, like user agent decision table, non-user agent decision table, and single value decision table. Okay, and in addition to that, in this chapter, we are also going to cover the roles. What are the roles we have, or the positions we have? So based on, as I said, in MDG, we have change request. And after submitting the change request start traveling for approvals. So this is nothing but your business process. So you have a reviewer, you have a approver, and those change requests are traveling to those reviewer and approvers, and basically you review them and approve them. So how those reviewers and approvers will be assigned based on the roles, based on the positions. So how those positions and roles will be configured, those things we are going to cover here. And beside that, we will also talk about the different type of services, like email notifications. After completing the process, the requester of the request will receive the mail, or each level of approvers will receive the mail once it is complete. Secondly, dynamic agent selection. So you can dynamically, based on the value, you will decide whether it will be going to the procurement department, or it will be going to the planning department, or it will be going to the finance department, etc. Rule context preparation. Based on a certain conditions, might be your positions or the approvers will be different. Okay. And then you have a parallel processing. So let's say uh, once the change request will submit, then the request will parallelly go to the procurement, production, planning, and from there they will approve, and then only it will go to the next level. So these are the different services we will have. Each services which I call out, whether it is an email notification, whether it is a dynamic agent, whether it is a rule context preparation, whether it is a parallel processing. Each process, remember, I repeat, each process will be demonstrate practically over the system, because they are different in nature. They are different. They are having the different usage. So until and unless you have a proper demonstration, hands-on, because behind those you have a ABAP exposure. You need to write some ABAP logic. So until and unless I explain those ABAP logic, you will not understand what are the different items are. Okay. So this is all about your workflow. Now, in continuation of that, we have a data quality and search, where we will talk about the search application, different type of search application, like database search, embedded search, HANA based search. But mostly we will concentrate on HANA based search, because in S4 HANA, your database is a HANA database, and the search we will be conducting, that is the HANA based search. What is the importance of search? Because you need to identify the duplicate records, the records which are incomplete. So in order to have identification of the duplicate records, we have a duplicate check configurations. So in this chapter, we are going to see the duplicate check configurations. Along with that, we will also see the BRA plus. The BRA plus exposure to do the data validations and derivations, and ABAP body exposure with validations and derivations. So first of all, why BRA plus and why ABAP body? So BRA plus means if you have a very simple ifs and else conditions. If my material type is finished goods, then let's say my material group is XYZ. Such kind of a simple conditions if you have or derivations you have, you can deal with the BRA plus. But the moment you have a complex situations arrived where multiple conditions are involved, multiple executions are expecting at the same time. So then the ABAP body will come into the picture. So in our discussion, we will demonstrate one particular case with the BRA plus and two particular case with ABAP body. Why two? Because by using one case, we will show in BRA plus validations and derivations both. Where in ABAP body, I will demonstrate two different cases, okay, for two different master data. One case we will show for material, let's say material, how the validations and derivations are happening, okay, and another case I will show for business partner or finance, that how the validations and derivations happening, okay. So these are the things which we are going to again look into a complete demonstration with hands-on, okay. Then these till this whatever we discussed, whether you are in MDG on ECC or whether you are MDG S4 HANA, more or less same, okay. Now I'm coming to data quality management. Data quality management has been introduced post S4 HANA. Okay, so it is only possible when you are using S4 HANA MDG, this tool to access. So basically, we will talk about how to configure this tool and how this DQM will be used for single processing, consolidation, and mass processing. And again, there will be a hands-on activity. Then we will talk about data replication framework. Again, data replication, whether you are in ECC or you are in S4 HANA, doesn't matter. Data replication will be accessible for you. So particularly in our discussions, we are going to talk about the data replication using IDOC and SOA services. Now, the difference between IDOC and SOA services we will talk about, and we will create the configurations to show you that how through IDOC the data movements are happening from one to another system, and how the SOA configurations helps to replicate the data from one to another. Okay, and while doing that, there are a couple of more concepts which we will touch upon, that is key mapping and value mapping. Okay. Then we will talk about the data migration. So data migration, what are the use cases normally we have? What type of data migration cases we deal with? And then the data migration strategies by using particularly consolidation, mass processing, LSMW. LSMW cannot satisfy with you for all the cases, but still for today, for any custom table update or single table update, LSMW is still as a very fruitful tool. We will also talk about the data migration cockpit. Okay, but we are not going to talk about LTMC and LTMOM, because just for your information, from S4 HANA MDG 2023, LTMC and LTMOM is uh, no more accessible. I mean, it has been decommissioned. Okay, so we will talk about mainly consolidation, mass processing as a data migration tool, and LSMW and data migration cockpit. Okay. Then we will talk about the integration scenarios with various systems Apart from ECC and S4 HANA replication, the previous slide, what you have seen, we also have different systems, like for an example, Ariba, Coupa, Central Finance, PLM. These are the systems. So these systems, how we integrate basically. And there we will have the main purpose of having the discussion is exposed with MDG APIs. So whether you are connecting with Ariba or Central Finance or PLM and moving the data from, let's say, Coupa to MDG for supplier ID, and then MDG, you create the supplier data. How the APIs are helping there. So we will build one complete scenario and you will see that how the APIs are helping. Okay. Then categorically, we have consolidation and mass processing. Anyway, consolidation and mass processing, we are also covering in the data migration chapter. But however, we will have a complete demonstration for business partner and material. Please note, consolidation and mass processing only used for business partner and material. It does not allow for finance data. So for finance data, either we have a DIF option, data import framework, which we are going to talk about under the data replication chapter, or file transfer. Okay. Fiori application, anyway, Fiori application we are going to cover in the UI chapter. So the configurations and the executions of the Fiori. Because ultimately, whatever the new items, what are the new items, by the way? S4 MDG brings consolidation mass processing. This you will not have in ECC MDG. S4 MDG brings data quality management. This was not available in ECC MDG. So these are the new things. And beside these new items, uh, mm, the regular like data creations, data change, extension, update, mark for deletion, block unblock. This also you will be seeing through Fiori. Then again, this is again a new tool available post S4, that is process analytics. Process analytics is basically a tool which is for data analytics activity. So let's say for an example, if I give you a small example to understand, you have a list of change requests, because by the time you understand that we deal with the change request. So in change request, how many change requests in 1 month has been approved, has been rejected, and under the approval process. Everything you can see by using this process analytics. Okay, so we will see the configurations and the execution of it. And then we will talk about the MDG RISE. So what is the importance of introduction of MDG RISE? What are the core components we have in RISE? What is the difference between the public and private cloud? How this public and private cloud are aligned with the GDPR? What are the security and compliance in RISE? Business process transformation journey through AI and ML, where we will talk about few scenarios related to AI and ML based solutions, okay, which currently in demand. Okay, but one thing I would like to tell you, we will this particular topic, that is business process transformation journey through AI and ML. This particular topic we will cover theoretically, because to to satisfy this or to build the whole process, we will be required a huge infrastructure which we do not have, and it is required a huge investment. So that's the reason this topic we will be covered theoretically, that currently what are the AI and ML based solutions are happening in MDG area. Okay, so please remember this, because well, we will discuss this please don't come and say that you are just theoretically explaining, but you are not building this, because it is not possible to build. It is required a huge infrastructures. Okay, clear? Now question answer. Yes, if you have any question, particularly I'm expecting the question from the topic which we covered, like MDG RISE, process analytics, Fiori, consolidation, mass processing, integration scenarios, data migration, data replication framework, data quality management, data quality and search, and workflow. If you have any question on this.
Hi Aditya, my question is regarding the last PPT related to the theoretical concepts of the RAISE and public and private cloud, etc.,
Sure,
AI
please.
and ML. So, is it possible for you to at least showcase something with the screenshots kind of thing? Because we are totally new to these
I
concepts,
will do that. I will do.
Yeah.
I will share with you some screenshots, but not the complete execution. That is not possible.
Yeah, at least documentation is fine for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do
Thank you.
that. I'll definitely do that.
So, and one more question is related to when you talk about the LSMW, still is the transaction working? I'm not sure. It is obsolete, right?
No, no, no. LSMW is not obsolete. Basically, LSMW is having some limitations in S4. Particularly, if I talk
Yes.
about in S4, we have a Bupa concept, for an example. So in Bupa concept, what says that you have a business partner as a highest level entity, and ERP customer and ERP vendor as a lower level entity, right? So let's say, for an example, in LSMW, if you are trying to create one customer, that is not possible, because it will just create the customer, but it will not able to create the relevant business partner. That is the problem. So that is something which is satisfying with the consolidation and mass processing. Okay, particularly consolidation, because we are talking about the create scenario. And so then what is the significance of LSMW? So the significance of the LSMW still we have, particularly, let's say you have a custom table, and that custom table you need to update with some data, or you have some standard table, need to update the data. Okay, so for a table specific update, still you can utilize this tool, and it is a absolutely very useful tool. And apart from LSMW, one thing I also forget to mention, in data migration, we are also going to cover up the customizing sync, particularly from, let's say you have two systems, MDG and ECC. Now, ECC systems, you have a couple of company codes which are not having in MDG system, but those company codes will be required. So how you can utilize this? By using the customizing sync. So the customizing sync program, in demonstrations, we will show you that from one system to another system, how you can basically extract the reference data. Okay, or again, LSMW again can be helpful to feed those company codes in your systems. Okay, but instead of having the LSMW, we will be preferring to using customizing sync. But LSMW is still having some relevance. It's not obsolete completely.
Okay, thank you, Aditya, for the explanation. And 3 years ago, when I tried this transaction, I got the message that it is obsolete. So I don't. So I just wanted to get the confirmation it's
No,
working
no,
or
no.
not. Yeah.
LSMW is not obsolete. No,
Okay.
that's not
Thank,
true. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
I had a question.
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. You said there were two different options, right? So BRF plus and bodies, right? With for these programs, I don't know, when you write this, is it compatible with the new, what do you say, clean core principles, or now only BRF plus is used, or do we still program these things?
Okay.
next time.
To answer your question, it will be just a ABAP body. Okay, just by using the ABAP body, which is MDG specific ABAP body, and let me specific that is in rule based body. We have two type of body. One is the single value, the single entity validations, and cross entity derivation. So I'm exactly talking about those bodies to build. I'm not talking about the core clean. Okay, we are not covering anything related to the core clean in this discussion. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other question?
Aditya, I have one question. In data modeling, you talk about the staging area and active area. So my question is that, Aditya, like I mean, data already will be in MDG for staging area, or how it will be? I have a little bit confused on it.
Okay, so it will be good if we will discuss this matter when we will have opportunity, because the thing is, it is required lot of explanation. But still, I would like to respond you. That is basically when you submit the change request, your change request your change request data does not go to directly to this database table. Okay, it's not like you go to any transaction, you enter the data, you save it, and directly the data will go to the database table. No, it's not like that. Rather than that, after submitting the change request, your data will be stored in an inactive table. That is, we call it as a staging table, because your change request is now traveling to various different departments for approval: procurement, planning, production, finance, etc. So during this approval process, your data will be still in the staging table. And after all the approval complete, then your data will be activated and your data will move from staging to the active area. However, this is for business partner and material case. I mean for material, customer, and supplier case. But for finance, your data, normally your data will be still reside in the staging table. But we will be to safeguard the data, we will push the data from staging to the active extensively. So there is a difference. So if we really want to discuss this, it will take a lot of time, a lot of prerequisite discussion is also necessary. So for now, I would say this is much. But whenever we will have the opportunity, we will definitely go in detail way.
Sure. Thank you,
Okay.
Aditya.
Yeah. Any other question from anyone? Okay. If there is no question, wait a minute. I'll quickly stop sharing. I have one more thing to just talk about and then we'll close it. Okay. I'm sharing my screen. Okay. I hope my screen is visible, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So whatever we discussed in the slide, this is the complete agenda. So first is the introduction of MDG, where we will talk about like overview of MDM and MDG, introduction of MDG architecture, deployment options, co-deployed hub deployment, role of S4HANA, difference between MDG, ECC, S4HANA, and the different domains, along with those basic fundamental questions. Okay, so these are the introduction chapter. Then we will have a data model. In data model, we will have a data model basic concepts, then the data model reuse mode, flex mode, then create and extending data model, MMBP finance, data model relationship and keys. These are, and apart from that, you have a CVI concept, general model, etc. Because everything it's an agenda. So in introduction agenda, you cannot write everything, right? So it's a very high level things we highlighted. Then process model, create and extend process model for BP and finance. Activate type linkage, but beside that also you have a lot of configurations for business activity, change request types, so on. UI configurations. Under UI configurations, you have floor plan manager, because what we have done, we under the UI configuration, I just kept FPM and another chapter. I'm sorry about that. It has been repeat 2 times, but it's just a one single topic. So SAP Fiori, I separated that because it's a having a bunch of configurations and the executions. So that's what I separated this. But ultimately, we will be covering as a part of UI discussion. Okay, so FPM concept and then UI configuration with different entities and enhancing UI with the custom fields, then develop UI field property with feeder class implementation and field property body. These 2 things. Okay. Then workflow, introduction of MDG workflow, change request and staging concepts, then rule-based workflow, then BRF plus, and multi-step approval process. Particularly here, we will talk about this different type of service body, like email notification, rule context preparation, parallel processing, dynamic agent, etc. Okay. And then we will talk about data quality and validations, introduction of validation rules, validations and BRF plus, validations and derivations using BRF plus, duplicate check configurations, okay, consolidation and mass processing. So maintain the data maintenance, data import and file upload mechanism, consolidation of mass process from the basically the execution part, consolidation and mass processing. Then data replications, data replication framework configurations, DRF. Then by using SOA and ALE IDOC replication, integration with SAP and non-SAP, that is which we talked about, like we have CFIN system, we have Ariba system, particularly the APIs we will cover here, and then key mapping and value mapping. Okay, and then MDG analytics, where we will talk about the MDG analytics configurations and integration with MDG analytics, particularly the CDS view. What is CDS view? How we can develop this CDS view, and the data quality management. So basically, I merged it. The data analytics or process analytics and a DQM, I merged it. And finally, you have a MDG RISE, where we just talked about that the what is the importance of having RISE, what are the components, what is private cloud, public cloud, how it's aligned with the data security, and the business process transformation journey with AI and ML. Okay, so this is a complete agenda. So I'll send this agenda and PPT right after this meeting to coordinator. So coordinator will circulate this. Okay, please go through it. And if you have any question, now 2 more things. One is we are covering within 25 to 30 hours. Okay, it will be plus minus, but more or less this is the timeline, and it will be on weekend, Saturday and Sunday. The timing will be shared by the coordinator. Okay, and as I said, that you will be given the one system with the 6 months of access. And apart from that, we have a SharePoint where chapter wise we have a different folders. And then under the folder, we have a relevant documents. Some documents are SAP documents and some documents which I created, particularly as you have seen by the time that there will be a lot of demonstrations which will be created. So those demonstration documentations are also there. So in future, there might be a possibility that you are not able to access the recording, but at least those documents will help you as a reference, or you cannot carry the recordings everywhere because it's a huge size and all, but at least you will be carry the documentation. So that is the reason we will have the SharePoint, and I think you will get the lifetime SharePoint access. Okay, so you can check with the coordinator, and that's all. I think I have provided most of the informations. Yes, if you have still any question, we
So
may
Aditya,
discuss.
what will be, I mean, duration on the every weekend? It will be 2 hour class or 3 hour? How it will be for
Normally 2 hours, 2 hours
two?
each day. I mean Saturday
Mm,
and Sunday each day to 2 hours.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any
Mm.
other question from anyone?
So one small request regarding the timing. So I think I can speak with the coordinator, right?
Yeah, timing, you need to speak with the coordinator, but the point is that I uh, I have provided my timings based on my availability. So
Mhm.
everyone must understand. I understand that everybody, maybe we are from the different region, following different time zone, but you have to understand end of the day that it's not for the long time. It's just about few weeks, and uh, if you can please cooperate with these few weeks, then that will be really helpful. Otherwise, uh, I
Um,
have a really time crunch. So, yeah, you can discuss with coordinator in this matter.
yeah, sure. Aditya, it's only the Saturday 1:30 IST class. It will be 9 a.m. here in Germany. So it is too early because we work late hours and then, getting up is really problematic.
Uh,
So,
you have
um,
to, I'm sorry, but you have
mm,
to adjust with that. Or otherwise, you have a recording
uh,
available.
half
So
an hour
you can,
Aditya,
is.
yeah.
sorry to interrupt. What are the current timings that you mentioned to the coordinator?
Wait a minute. Let me first check the timing which I have given. Okay. The timing has been given, which is, I'm talking about IST. Yeah?
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, 1:30 p.m. IST,
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, 7:30 p.m. IST. Okay.
Okay.
I would say that because we are recording this session, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So regarding the timing, if you can discuss with coordinator, that will be really helpful. Okay. And if you have any concern, then we will see how we can address it. But as I said, that I have a time constraint. Yeah,
Yeah, as of now, the timings look fine, but of course, I mean, at least for me, with me, I don't know about others.
right.
So,
And
As the session is getting recorded, can we talk about any specific question apart
uh,
from the timing? So timing something which we can discuss internally. Yeah. Do you have any specific question about the topic? Okay. If there is no question, then there is no point to hold this session. So coordinator, can you please stop the recording? So offline, if anyone really wants to discuss.
Aditya, one request is Saturday session